Kentrell, you don't talk to me or you don't talk to your fucking kids. Quit playing on me on this internet. I let you lie on me too many motherfucking times.
NBA YoungBoy just told the whole world he is done with America. Forever. The man is sitting in South Korea right now on camera saying he will never set foot in the United States again. Not for his kids, not for his money, not for the biggest tour run of his entire career. And here's what makes this crazy, fam. He said all of this while sitting on the richest year of his life, fresh off a tour that pulled in over $70 million. But buried inside that same interview is a health secret he hid from everybody, even his own team, while he was up on those stages every night. And there's one sentence he let slip, one single line, that flips this whole I moved to Korea story on its head. Most channels missed it completely. We didn't. Let's get into it. August 11th, 2026, a podcast called Open Thoughts drops a new episode, and the internet loses its mind. Funny Marco, the comedian who built his whole lane on awkward interviews, is sitting across from Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, NBA YoungBoy. And they're not in Atlanta or LA. They're not even in Baton Rouge. They are in South Korea. Think about what it took to even make that happen. Funny Marco had never left the United States in his life. Never. This was the first international trip the man ever took, and he took it for one reason. That is the only way you are getting NBA YoungBoy on camera in 2026. The mountain does not come to you anymore. You fly across the planet to the mountain, and within 24 hours per KTLA, that interview crossed 1.8 million views. By August 13th, it was past 2 million and still climbing. USA Today picked it up. Rolling Stone and Billboard, too. Every blog, every rap page, every comment section, all asking the same question. Did NBA YoungBoy really just move to Korea? He did. And when Marco asked him straight up if he would ever move back to America, YoungBoy gave him 4 words that are about to live on a million thumbnails. Never in life. Never.
I'm going to the United States?
Yeah, I moved.
Never in life.
Then he doubled down. There's nothing there for me. Nothing else there for me at all. Let that sink in for a minute. This is a man who owns one of the biggest catalogs in rap history. A man with reportedly 13 children back in the States. A man who just made $70 million touring American arenas. And he's telling you there is nothing there for him. Nothing at all. So why Korea? Why not Paris? Why not Dubai? Why not somewhere with a rap scene? YoungBoy explained it himself. He said it's out the way. Then he added, I get the energy too. It's very safe here and very clean. Reports place him in Seoul, and per IB Times UK, he's been spotted around the city, including its upscale districts. And when you know this man's story, when you know what safe means coming out of his mouth specifically, that answer hits different. Because for damn near a decade, NBA YoungBoy could not walk outside in America without security, without surveillance, without somebody watching him. Sometimes that somebody was an op. Sometimes that somebody was the federal government. Now let me bring y'all up to speed real quick because you cannot understand the Korea move without understanding the cage he just walked out of. Kentrell Gaulden is born October 20th, 1999, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. His father catches a 55-year sentence behind a robbery, so he's raised mostly by his grandmother. As a toddler, he breaks his neck wrestling, and the head brace he has to wear leaves those scars on his forehead that y'all still see today. The man has been marked by struggle since before he could talk. In 2010, his grandmother passes from heart failure. Remember that detail. I'm dead serious. Remember it, because it comes back at the end of this story in a way that will give you chills. After she passes, he moves in with his friend OG33 and buys his first microphone from Walmart at 14. By 2015, he's dropping his first mixtape and co-founding Never Broke Again after leaving a Baton Rouge group called TBG. That split between NBA and TBG turned into a rivalry that police would later flat out call a gang conflict. The city was watching him, the state was watching him, and soon the feds were watching him too. November 2016, he catches his first major case, charged with 2 counts of attempted murder over a Baton Rouge drive-by. He ends up pleading guilty to aggravated assault with a firearm in May 2017. That conviction follows him everywhere after, because in America, once you're a convicted felon, touching a firearm becomes a federal crime all by itself. No shooting required, just possession. Which brings us to September 28, 2020. YoungBoy is filming a music video in Baton Rouge when the law moves in. And per court records, he's caught with a Glock 21 and a Masterpiece Arms 9mm as a felon. That is the exact trap I just described, and now the federal government has him. While that case winds through the courts, a judge does something unusual in October 2021. He lets YoungBoy await trial on house arrest, but not in Louisiana. In Utah, Salt Lake City area, a quiet spot called Olympus Cove in Mill Creek. By April 2022, YoungBoy buys himself an 8,800 square foot mansion out there for around $5.4 million. 4 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a 5-car garage, an indoor elevator, a resort-style pool, and the name he gives this luxury prison? Grave Digger Mountain. The man named his own house like he already knew what that isolation was doing to him. For a minute, Utah looked like the answer. Off the grid, away from Baton Rouge politics, dropping music from the mountains. But here's where it gets absolutely wild. April 2024, that same peaceful mountain house gets raided. Not by local police, the FBI, the Secret Service, and a SWAT team, all at his front door. The case, an alleged prescription drug fraud operation with charges around identity fraud, forgery, and weapons. The exact count got reported differently depending on the outlet. Some said 63, while AP cited reporting put the initial state case at 46. Either way, fam, that is a phone book of charges, not a case number. November 2024, he takes a deal. Guilty on 10 counts, no contest on the rest, all knocked down to Class A misdemeanors, plus a $25,000 fine. Then December 2024, the hammer lands on the federal gun case. 23 months in federal prison, a $200,000 fine. And this is the part everybody sleeps on. 60 months of federal probation after release. 5 whole years where the government controls where you live, where you travel, who you associate with. 5 years where you need written permission just to leave the country. He gets shipped to FCI Talladega in Alabama. And while he's inside, the streets start talking. According to Terrence Gangsta Williams, Birdman's brother, YoungBoy allegedly got into it with an inmate repping OTF, Lil Durk's crew, in March 2025. Now let me be clear, that's a single source claim, never confirmed by prison officials. So we file it exactly where it belongs, as an allegation. But it tells you the temperature. Even behind a federal fence, the Durk situation, a beef rooted in the tragic loss of King Von back in November 2020 during an altercation involving YoungBoy's affiliate Quando Rondo, was still breathing. March 2025, after roughly 11 months inside, YoungBoy walks out of Talladega into a halfway house situation in Phoenix. He's out. But he's not free. That 5-year federal leash is still on his neck, and under it, and "I'm moving to Korea forever" plan is legally impossible. A man on federal probation does not just relocate to Asia. So what changed? May 28, 2025, President Donald Trump pardons NBA YoungBoy. A full presidential pardon, one of 26 clemency grants announced that day through Trump's pardon, Czar Alice Marie Johnson. The federal conviction? Wiped. The 5 years of probation? Gone. YoungBoy posted his reaction himself, thanking Trump, thanking Alice Marie Johnson, thanking his lawyer Brittany K. Barnett. Most of the coverage treated it as just another celebrity pardon headline. But y'all seeing this pattern, right? No pardon, no passport freedom. No passport freedom, no Korea. The entire Korea lifestyle you're watching on that Funny Marco interview exists because of one signature in Washington. That's the hidden engine of this whole story, and almost nobody connects those two dots. And once he's fully free, the man goes on the greatest run of his career. July 25th, 2025, he drops Massa through his own Never Broke Again imprint with Motown. It debuts at number 6 on the Billboard 200 with 49,000 units, his 16th top 10, tying him with Jay-Z and Nas. And per Billboard, that made him the rapper with the most Billboard 200 entries in history. 34 charting projects, he passed E40's record of 33. A man who spent years locked up, locked down, and locked out just out-charted every rapper who ever lived. Then comes the part nobody thought they'd ever see. NBA YoungBoy, the most streamed recluse in rap, goes on tour. His first ever headlining tour. 42 shows from September to November 2025. And per touring data, the Massa Tour grossed $70,012,731 from 552,215 tickets. Say it with me, $70 million. On a debut headlining run, that's the highest grossing tour ever by a debut headlining rapper in US history, and the 11th biggest hip-hop tour of all time, past Travis Scott's Astro World numbers. One night in Philadelphia alone pulled $2.3 million. Vegas packed over 15,000 people into T-Mobile Arena. YoungBoy himself told Funny Marco he was clearing around $1.5 million per show. Real quick, tap that subscribe button before we go any further, because the next part of this story is the part that changes how you see all of it. Because while those $70 million were stacking, while those arenas were screaming his lyrics back at him every single night, NBA YoungBoy was carrying something on that stage that nobody in those buildings knew about. Not the fans, not his team, nobody. On the podcast, he said this word for word. On tour, a doctor told me the left side of my heart was swollen and I never told nobody. I just kept doing every show. I finished my tour out like that. Read that again. A doctor tells this man, mid-tour, that the left side of his heart is swollen, and his response is silence. No cancellations, no announcement, no sympathy rollout. He performs 42 shows. The biggest debut headlining tour in rap history was performed by a man who had just been told his heart was enlarged, and he kept that secret through every single night of it. That is either the hardest thing you've ever heard or the most heartbreaking, and honestly, it might be both. And it's not past tense either. He told Marco, "My heart kinda still is enlarged on this little side." That explains the music though, right? She's hurting. She's hurting.
The doctor told me the left side of my heart was swollen. That explains the music though, right?
The man turned his own medical report into a bar, but behind the wordplay is a very real situation, because that health revelation changes everything else he announced. YoungBoy says he's winding down. 1 or 2 more albums, that's it. The next one is titled All Dogs Go to Heaven, expected before he turns 27 on October 20th, 2026. And on touring, he was even more final. I go on tour one more time throughout my whole life, and that's it. One more tour, ever. When a 26-year-old at the absolute peak of his earning power starts talking like that, he's not planning a career. He's reading his own clock out loud. So now the career picture starts making sense, right? A man with a hurting heart, a fortune in the bank, and a lifetime of American drama picks the one place on earth where nobody's looking for him. So what does his actual life out there look like? Here's what's confirmed and here's what's noise, because in this niche, that difference matters. Confirmed, this is his first time ever in South Korea, and reports place him in Seoul. Confirmed, per IB Times UK, he's been overseas for a few months with family, and Korea wasn't even his first stop. After canceling Rolling Loud Orlando back in May 2025, he was spotted in Paris, then reportedly moved through China, Norway, Belgium, and France before landing in Korea. The man was quietly auditioning countries. Now the noise. There's viral TikTok footage claiming he hit a nightclub in the Hongdae district, unverified. There's a fan who supposedly tracked him down on the streets of Seoul, and while that clip is real and made the rounds on XXL's pages, no credible outlet has named the fan or documented exactly what was said, and whether his wife Jaslyn Michelle, who he married in 2023, and who gave birth to their 3rd child this past February, is physically out there with him, not confirmed by name in any credible report, and that rumor flying around that South Korea granted him citizenship, dead that right now. False, no basis. And the man's own words prove it, which brings us to the sentence I promised you at the top. Because in the middle of all that never coming back talk, Funny Marco asked YoungBoy when Korea started feeling like home, and YoungBoy said this: "I can't be at home until they give me a visa, right?" Stop, rewind that. Until they give me a visa. Fam, do you understand what that sentence actually means? Every headline this week said, NBA YoungBoy moved to Korea. Permanent. Done deal. But by his own mouth, he doesn't have long-term legal status yet. Not one credible outlet has confirmed what his immigration status actually is. Which means the real story is not NBA YoungBoy moved to Korea. The real story is NBA YoungBoy is trying to convince Korea to let him stay. One of the biggest artists in American music is sitting in Seoul telling the world he'll never go home. And he's waiting on a foreign government's paperwork to decide whether he even can stay. He escaped the American system and walked straight into an immigration office. That's the twist nobody's talking about. And it turns this whole lifestyle story into a countdown. And while he waits on that answer, everything he left behind in America is on fire. Start with July 10th, 2026. The same day Future drops his album, The Real Me. YoungBoy jumps out with a track called What the What, takes shots and brands the city Ho Atlanta. Then he admits it with zero shame. And I'm quoting him with the language softened. "It ain't no beef. I just wanted to F up his rollout for all that he do behind the scenes." Future, one of the most powerful men in Atlanta, a man YoungBoy actually collaborated with on Trillionaire back in 2020, said absolutely nothing. Silence. His artist Doughboy answered instead. YoungBoy accepted a fight challenge, and the whole thing just hangs there unresolved. But let's keep it all the way real for a second, because this is the complication in this story. The same man telling you he found peace, safety, and clean energy in Korea torched a Peers album rollout for Sport 4 weeks before that interview. By his own admission, not over beef, just because he felt like it. So when YoungBoy paints America as the problem, understand that some of that chaos has a return address. And nowhere is that clearer than what happened on August 12th, one day after the interview dropped. On the podcast, YoungBoy talked about his mother, Shahonda Galden, saying, "I started loving my mom from a distance, and that today, I'll never end like speak to her again." 24 hours later, his mother went on Instagram and burned the whole narrative down. She snapped back, word for word, language softened. "Kentrell, you don't talk to me, or you don't talk to your effing kids. Quit playing with me on this internet. I let you lie on me too many effing times."
Kentrell, you don't talk to me or you don't talk to your fucking kids. Quit playing with me on this internet. I let you lie on me too many motherfucking times. I wasn't down there when you did that video with that man. That man wasn't in your kitchen while I was in your kitchen. Quit playing with me, bro. I don't give a you don't never call me. Just stop lying on me, bro.
His own mother publicly calling him a liar and questioning him as a father while he's on the other side of the planet. And that fatherhood shot lands heavy. YoungBoy reportedly has 13 children with 10 women, including a son with Yaya Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's daughter. Most of those kids are back in the States. His answer for the distance? The most important thing is probably my kids. But that's what they got planes for. Planes. That's the plan. And you already know how the internet and his own mother received that one. So here's where the whole thing stands right now. And here's why I told you to remember his grandmother. The woman who raised Kentrell Galden died of heart failure in 2010. 16 years later, her grandson is sitting in Seoul with an enlarged heart of his own. He's promising the world one last album, All Dogs Go to Heaven, before his 27th birthday on October 20th, and one final tour before he disappears for good. The same organ that took the woman who raised him is now the clock ticking on his career. And between now and that birthday, everything is an open question. Does the album actually drop? Does Future ever respond? Does his mother's war go another round? And the biggest one of all, does South Korea ever hand him that visa? Or does the man who swore he'd never come home get sent home anyway? Was leaving everything behind genius or running away? Drop your take in the comments.